I never believed in ghosts. Until that night. A whisper in the dark, a name written in blood, and a door that should never have been opened. But when I turned back, it was gone. Now, I hear it again. The whisper. And I know. She's still there. I never believed in ghosts. Not really. But that was before the night I spent in the abandoned wing of our college. I wish I could say I was dared to do it, or that I did it for a thrill. But the truth is, I had no choice. It started with a mistake. A stupid, simple mistake. I had left my backpack in the library, and by the time I realized it, it was nearly midnight. Knowing the library would soon be locked, I sprinted across campus, hoping the night guard would let me in. But the place was eerily deserted. The main door was slightly ajar, swaying gently as if someone had just gone inside. A shiver crawled up my spine, but I shook it off and stepped in. The library was cloaked in shadows, the dim emergency lights barely illuminating the towering shelves. I hurried to the table where I had been studying and grabbed my bag. That's when I heard it a whisper. It was faint, almost like a sigh carried by the stale air. My breath hitched. I turned, expecting to see the guard or another student. But the library was empty. The silence was deafening. I took a deep breath and headed for the exit. But as I reached the door, the lights flickered and went out. The darkness was absolute. My phone's flashlight barely cut through the heavy shadows. Heart pounding, I pulled on the door, but it wouldn't budge. My pulse spiked. I tugged harder. It was locked. Then I heard it again, the whisper. Closer this time, almost against my ear. I spun around, my flashlight trembling in my grip. A shape flickered in the periphery of my vision, slipping between the shelves. The sound of pages rustling filled the air as if unseen hands were flipping through ancient books. The hair on my arms stood on end. Something brushed past me. I choked on a gasp, whipping my phone around wildly. The aisle was empty. My mind screamed at me to run, but my legs refused to move. Then, in the dim beam of my light, I saw the only way out, the door to the abandoned wing. No one went in there. Some said a tragedy had occurred decades ago. Others whispered of a vengeful spirit that still roamed its halls. But at that moment, I didn't care about the rumors. I just wanted to get out. I pushed the heavy door open, and an icy gust greeted me. The air was thick with decay, the scent of mold and something metallic. The hallway stretched endlessly, lined with rusted lockers and torn papers strewn across the floor. Every step echoed unnaturally, as though the walls were swallowing the sound. Then, the door slammed shut behind me. I spun, heart hammering. My flashlight flickered, and for a brief second, I saw them figures standing in the dark, their eyes hollow pits of blackness. Their lips moved, whispering in a language I couldn't understand. My skin prickled with raw terror. One stepped forward. It didn't walk. It glided, its movements unnatural and jerky like a puppet with invisible strings. I stumbled back, my breath coming in sharp, panicked gasps. My foot hit something, and I fell hard. My phone skidded away, its light rolling over the floor until it illuminated something scrawled on the wall in smeared dark red letters. Eleanor Grant. I knew that name. Everyone did. Eleanor Grant had been a student here decades ago. She vanished one night, last seen in this very wing. Some said she was murdered. Others believed she had never left. And now she was here. A shadow loomed over me. I turned my head, my pulse hammering in my ears. Eleanor stood inches away, her face impossibly pale, lips twisted into a grotesque grin. Her empty eye sockets bled darkness, and she opened her mouth, an unnatural gaping void. The whispering turned into screams, voices clawing at my skull. I scrambled to my feet and ran. The hallway warped, stretching endlessly, doors appearing and vanishing as if the building itself were alive. The walls throbbed like a beating heart, and the floor beneath me felt like quicksand. Shadows skittered along the edges of my vision, whispering my name. Then I saw a door at the end of the corridor, a sliver of warm light beneath it, my only chance. I lunged for it, slamming my shoulder against the wood. It burst open, and I stumbled forward onto solid ground, into the brightly lit main hall of the college. Everything was normal. The air was still, the silence unbroken. I turned back. The door I had come through was gone. Nothing but a blank wall. The next day I researched Eleanor Grant. Old newspaper clippings confirmed the story, but there was one detail I hadn't known, one that made my blood turn to ice. Eleanor had vanished on February 20th, the same date as last night. I don't go near the library after dark anymore. I never speak of what happened, but some nights when I'm alone, I hear it again, the whisper, and I know she's still there, waiting.